thank you for passing through again. Hopefully you're here to stay. So today I wrote a list of 6 things that I wish I knew before I had a baby. So this is great for anybody who's maybe planning to have a child or thinking about it or they're already pregnant. So let's get straight into it. So first thing I wish I knew is that everyone is going to have an opinion on your pregnancy, on what you should do for your baby, of what you should do while you're pregnant. Like, I remember thinking to myself, having a baby is like trying to lose weight, because everyone's got an opinion for you about when you're trying to lose weight. They'll give you diet tips, they'll tell you about certain foods, drinking apple cider vinegar, all this blah blah blah. So yeah, when you have a baby, it's gonna be like that as well. Everybody's gonna have something to say, and I would say definitely listen, especially when it's from experienced parents and you know they've raised their children really well. But at the end of the day, everybody is different. Every child is different. What you experience is going to be totally different to what your mum experiences, or your grandma, or your auntie, or your cousin. So you really need to trust yourself and your instincts. So yes, by all means, take advice, but at the same time, just use your brain and think about what is going to work best for you. All right, second thing is you realize who your true friends are. I lost a lot of friends when I had my son. For some reason, for some very naive, stupid reason, I thought by me having a child, it's actually going to bond me and my friends closer together. I just imagined them always coming round to come and hold the baby, to come and help me, to want to go on shopping trips and want to push the buggy for me. All of this stuff, which never happened. I lost loads of friends, people that I were really close to. Even I had a particular friend who was pregnant around the same time I was pregnant. So I thought, yes, like our kids are going to grow up together. We're always going to do stuff together, go to play groups together. But for some reason, our friendship just died its natural death. I never heard from her. Even when I had my son, she never came to visit. And it was like, wow, this is an eye-opener. And I think one of the reasons that you do lose friends is because they realize that you're in a different stage of your life right now and they're not in that stage yet. So it's like, what can they offer you? You're in this whole new world and they're still living on this little planet over here, and they know nothing about the world that you're about to enter. So I can understand why friendships do distance, they do come to an end. It's a shame, but just be prepared for that as well. There are certain people that your bond is going to naturally just come to an end. The third thing I wish I knew is the amount of sleep deprivation that you are going to have to endure. Oh my gosh, I love sleeping. I love sleeping. Everybody knows that I love my naps. Like, oh, I just love to sleep. Okay. So when I had my son, I knew obviously he'd be up a lot, but I didn't realize what it would feel like to have a child that wakes up to feed on you I think it was like every 3 or 4 hours. So luckily I did start to sleep when he would sleep, but when I first had him, I thought, oh, when he's sleeping, now's the time for me to, tidy up, do some cooking, just do other things that need to be done. Not realizing this child is going to just keep waking up. And then when it's my time to sleep, I'm not going to have that time to sleep. It took me years. It really did take me years to adjust to a whole new sleeping pattern. And that's why from early I was really strict with my son and getting him into a routine. I done control crying with him. I think it's called control crying, where they basically learn to self-soothe. So instead of picking them up when they're crying in the cot, you have to leave them to scream. And eventually they learn that, oh, okay, if I cry and cry, no one's going to come get me, so I might as well just go to sleep. And that was hard. I remember crying when he was crying because I was like, oh, I'm being so mean. My son is in pain. He needs me to hold him. He just wants to be rocked to sleep. But if I kept doing that, I would have no time to myself at all. It became so important for me to have the evening to just recharge and just come out of mummy mode for a little while. You're always in parent mode, but when you get your child into a routine and they're sleeping well, oh, it's a blessing to be able to enjoy your house tidy for a couple of hours, to just sit down and watch telly, put your feet in a foot spa, anything you need to do. getting your children in a good routine with their bedtimes as early as possible will really, really help. Okay, so the next thing was you will lose a part of your identity. So I don't know if everybody feels this way, but I know for me, at least for the first 2 years, especially when you're going to play groups and stuff, and people are like, oh, what's your child's name? And then you just become so-and-so's mum. So it's like I lost my entire name. I was just this child's mum. When people approach you, they see you and wave, and then they're like, oh, beautiful baby. And you're like, hello, I'm still here. I dressed up today. I look cute. Are you not going to compliment me? All of that goes out the window. Your child is just number one priority. And for me, at times, I really did feel like I was just no longer myself anymore. I was just this child's mother. And I say this child's mother because I don't know how I feel about saying his name. But yeah, I just felt like I was just a mother. There was nothing else to me. I was no longer Sarah. I was no longer a woman. I was no longer this charismatic person. I am just a mum. And that was hard for me. I remember a lot of the times I really did cry and get upset because I felt like I just didn't have any place in this world, especially when I became a single mother as well. I was like, what is my purpose here? Other than being a mum, what is my purpose? Because I always thought one of my purposes would be to be a wife as well and to be part of a family and, you know, be that backbone that's holding everything together. And I didn't have that. And on top of that, I wasn't working. And then to realise how hard it is to find work that is going to work around you being a parent. And oh my gosh, the audacity of the prices of childcare. I should have added that to the list as well. I just thought I'd be able to have a child, find a part-time job, be able to put my son in childcare and be able to work. It was not going to work. For me to work at that time when he was really, really young, I would have put myself in debt. There was no way I could have financially survived with doing just a basic 9-to-5 job and paying out for childcare all by myself. So yeah, back to the point, just feeling like you lose a piece of yourself. I don't know if that happens to everyone, but like I said, for me personally, there were times where I just felt like I was no longer Sarah, I'm just a mum. And it was quite depressing because on top of that, I've lost friends, I wasn't talking to as many people, I didn't have a lot of family around, and I just felt really, really alone and just useless other than being a mum. So, one of the other things I put down was loss of freedom. I didn't even think about this at all because obviously I assumed that me and my son's father would have lasted in a relationship. I just thought that we're going to have turns with being able to have our free time. Now, when I was with my son's dad, there were times that he would look after my son and I would go out in the evenings because I really, really missed going out drinking, not gonna lie. I loved my raves, I loved my clubs, and I wanted to go back out and shake a leg, especially because I was able to get my figure back. It was just like, yes, I need to be out. And that was one time that I felt like me again. Nobody knew that I was a mum. When I'm just out with my friends, nobody could tell. And luckily, with my stomach as well, it just popped back into place really quickly. So it's not even that would show any signs. But obviously, once we split up, I did have the support of my sister, but even with her, I didn't always want to ask her because she has her own family and she has a husband. Right now she has 3 kids and I just felt guilty and I felt like I was putting a burden on her. And there were times even that she would have just little things to say about my son and how he acts, and maybe he would accidentally break things or he was quite hyper compared to her kids. And it made me feel like I didn't even want to leave him there anymore because I was putting a burden on her and it didn't feel like she really wanted him. Like, you were going to have some people hopefully in your life that are really going to want to be there for you and your child, and you're going to feel that like they really just want to help. And there are other people that you're just going to question and think, okay, is this being a burden for them? Do they really want to do it? Are they just offering because they feel like they should, or are they offering because they want to? I haven't really had anyone in my life that I really feel like they want to help because they just have that urge. Actually, tell a lie. I must admit, my son's aunts from his dad's side, even though he doesn't see his dad, his aunts when they can, they really make an effort, and I know they want to have him because that's a part of them and they enjoy his company. He's the sweetest little boy ever. They spoil him like no tomorrow, and I know when he's with them, they really enjoy just having him around. But other than that, I've got maybe one or two friends. Let's say one. I've got one friend who I know really enjoys his company as well. And because she doesn't have children, I think that's why she appreciates it too. So that's her little time of playing mummy, and they just get on like a house on fire. But yeah, there's not many people that are gonna want to just have your child. There's not many people that are gonna want to help you. There are not gonna be many people that when you're going through real stresses and you're crying over the phone and you just need that help, that are gonna jump to your need. Like, be ready to do this alone. Even if you do have a partner, from what I hear from a lot of married women and a lot of women in relationships, they still feel single, especially if their partner is the one that is working and, you know, making the money and taking care. So, yeah, be ready to feel that loss of freedom. Even, oh my gosh, going to the toilet. It will take a long time for you to go to the toilet, have a bath, and do those little things in peace. Like, oh, the first couple years, especially when they're toddlers. I remember when my son was really, really small, I had to put him in the car seat and then just bring him to the front of the toilet so I could still watch him, because he was at that age where I didn't feel comfortable leaving him alone in a room by himself. Or maybe when he's getting to that age where he can start moving around and you don't want them touching stuff, you have to take them everywhere. Even when you want to soak in the bath. My son had to soak in the bath with me. So, yeah, be ready to lose a part of your freedom. And if you do have any help, please take advantage of it. Even if it's once a month. Once a month that you can go out and go see a friend. Once a month that you could just do something for yourself or just chill at home and recharge your battery. Take any help that you get, because you will lose your freedom. And the last thing, finally, is how expensive it is to have a child. So I'm not naive. I've always been quite good with money. So when I found out I was pregnant, one of the first things I done was I sold my car, and I decided I need to just stack up, and I need to be able to start living on a smaller amount of income, because I know a bigger amount is going to be going out. So financially, I was okay. I must admit I was okay, and luckily I had my dad who helped to buy bigger things like buggies. Oh my gosh, my buggy was £310. I did not know buggies were in the hundreds. Like, I thought a buggy would be like £40. And that's the real buggies with the car seat and the hood things and all the bits that you can change. I really thought buggies were cheap. No, they're no joke. And I know people that spend more than £500 on buggies. That's your business. You want to have your fancy buggy. But yeah, luckily I had my dad's help with buying things like that. I think even the cot that I had for him, it was given to me by my aunt. Moses basket, a lot of stuff I did get given to me, and I have no shame in taking second hand, not at all, especially because my child is not going to sleep or use those things forever. So yeah, I did take a lot of things second hand, but things like buggies, if you're not breastfeeding for whatever reason, formula is no joke. Buying clothes, oh my gosh. One time my son done a poo that somehow reached, no word of a lie, the top of his back. I don't know what happens with babies' bowel systems that their shit just goes everywhere. Like, it was disgusting. So obviously that baby girl needs to go in the bin. When certain things get dirty, there's no reusing it. So you're constantly buying clothes, constantly buying, like, if it's winter now, you've got to get them those, what's those all-in-one big things, like onesies, their hats, their gloves. They lose things because they want to throw their shoes off in the middle of the shop, and then you don't realise till you get home they've only got one shoe on. But yeah, it's expensive. The creams that you're going to need, if by any chance your child has any extra needs, you're going to have to buy those things. Even just toys for them to play with. Now, I never went overboard, but I always wanted my son to have more than enough. So even if I had to go to charity shops and buy things, I would do that, and then I'd wash it when I get home. But yeah, really start thinking about everything that you are going to need. If you can get things secondhand, I would say go for it. If you can get things given to you, perfect. Use Facebook. We have the internet now. There are so many things that you can do to make it less expensive. But I'm sorry, that's a piece of fluff. But it is an expensive, yeah, I was going to say an expensive hobby, but your child's no hobby. They're there for life. So yeah, take that into consideration as well. So I would say the best thing that you can do is at least start spending less now. So then you can save up and always have that little bit extra for when you do have your son or daughter or twins or triplets. You never know. But yeah, just try and be that bit more prepared money-wise. And if you are in debt or you have a lot of financial issues, don't be blind to it. Don't brush it under the carpet. Start trying to make things be in order from today. Like, seriously, today. You never know what's going to happen. I remember a year after I had my son, my fridge broke. I didn't have insurance. I always thought insurance was a scam. And so I had to find an extra, I think my fridge was about $350, and that was a cheap fridge, but it was decently big. So I had to find an extra $350 to buy a fridge. Luckily, my mum drilled into me to always have savings. She used to say, make sure you have rainy day money. I don't call it rainy day money because I think that's kind of, you're putting it out to the universe that you kind of want something bad to happen. But I always have that extra backup money, like that fall down money that's going to, cushion the blow. So start getting that in order and look at your finances. Make a list of all the things you are going to need for your child. Think about ways that you can make it cheaper. You don't always have to buy the most expensive thing. But yes, having a child is going to be expensive. They will always need clothes. They will always need books. They will always need toys. They will always need. So yes, a child needs love, but they're also going to need materialistic things as well for them to have a comfortable life, just like you do. So yeah, they're my 6 things. So we have, everyone will have an opinion. So I'm just looking at my notebook. You will realize who your true friends are. You will not have any sleep. You will lose a part of your identity, a loss of freedom, and it is very expensive. So especially for you young ladies out there who are thinking about having a baby, please, seriously, do your research, think about it, and plan. It's not my place to tell you you're too young to have a child or it's not the right time. This is your life, you're living it. But I just wish I listened a lot more to what people were telling me, because I was very naive to a lot of things and a lot of changes that were going to occur. But it's happened now, and I love my son. I love being a mum, and I hope this has helped someone, or maybe just at least made you think a little bit further down the line as to how to prepare for your child. So have a lovely day. I'll be back again with another video, and hopefully you'll be back too. Bye.